Heyo, Hipper here, and today I'm going to show you how to become a space pirate in Starfield. And it's actually not very difficult because all you gotta do is basically just shoot at other spaceships that you happen to find. That's really all there is. Of course, you can join actual pirate gangs and live off what space will provide you. But I'm just like a normal guy, and once in a while, I travel around the systems, and sometimes I feel, evil, and sometimes I feel good. So what you want to avoid is to get blown up, obviously. So I'm going to give you a few tips here in this video and tell you pretty much what you gotta do. First thing you gotta do is to upgrade the ship you start out with. As you can tell, I've added more engines on my ship here to make it more maneuverable, so I can outmaneuver the other guys, obviously. I've also switched the cannons to rockets or missiles, whatever you want to call it. It just makes it a little bit easier to fire at some of the more nimble ships in the game, and it does give you an upper hand, especially if you get to fire first, obviously. The actual, gameplay is quite simple. You just kill the enemies, and then they drop something in space. You fly close to it and you pick it up. That's pretty much all there is to it. And as you can tell, the actual act of dogfighting isn't really that impressive. It's mostly about keeping your nose towards the enemy and then firing at them and trying to dodge their shots. But it's not as advanced as other games, I will say, and it's a little bit disappointing, actually. Perhaps I'm just not far enough in the game yet, but there's no weapon that you put on hard points that are able to track the enemies by themselves, like in other games. And obviously, before you pick a fight, you gotta find someone who's around your level or lower. So what you gotta do is just, fly around from system to system, planet to planet, which is very easy in this game. Actually, a little bit too easy if you ask me, because all you have to do is click and press the X button, and then you just jump from place to place. If you have your gravity drive powered up, which I don't in this case here, but obviously an easy fix. But that's all you gotta do. And if your destination is far away, you'll grav jump to it, which is, pretty cool animation, but you can't do anything in the meantime. You're just gonna go from A to B, and then you'll magically appear at B. And if there's nothing interesting there, when you arrive, you turn on your scanner, you have a look around, and you say, well, there's no one around. Well, then you might as well just jump to the next place that you might find something interesting. And it's a little bit haphazard and a little bit, a little bit annoying at times that it's this simplistic. You can't just, fly from one system to the other and, discover interesting stuff on the way. Anything you have to discover will pretty much have to be at the destination where you pop up. So if you're watching the video here in the background, then we did one grav jump and there was nothing interesting in that area. So we just picked another random spot to go to, and then we grav jump to that area. And as you can see, it's just a load screen. That's it. And then you pop up in the new area, and you just have to pray that there's something interesting. So again, we have a little bit of a look around. We turn on our scanner. Don't forget to do that. And just, there seems to be something of interest over here. And an unknown location. That's what you want. There could be many different things here. It could be pretty much anything. But these are the things you want to look for, or ships, or, freighters, or whatever it is that you're in the mood to shoot down, really. So you gotta remember that although you are a shady person, most other people out in space are just as shady, if not shadier. For example, this guy here who is in, trouble, but it's fairly obvious after a few seconds that this is actually a mutiny going on the ship here. So obviously it turns out, okay, these guys are just waiting for their weapons to become online, and then they'll probably take me on. So I decide to, give diplomacy a little bit of a rest here and just fire the first shots. So anything can happen when you are on these little piracy missions here. And this one here, I wasn't really like a pirate as such. I was just waiting to see what would pop up, and if there was an opportunity to shoot a ship out of the sky, well, sure, I'm going to grab that opportunity. And as it so happens, in this case, I think guns are the right answer. And again, I'll just have to say that I find the dogfighting a little bit too simplistic. I'm level 10 now. I'm barely scratched the surface of the game, I realized that, but so far I'm not too impressed with what goes on here. It's a little bit too easy, and there's really only two ways these battles go. If if you get the upper hand, then you win, and if you take on a ship that's too high of a level, you lose, and that's about it. And if you lose, you just respawn again, and you can pretty much take on the same enemy again if you wish to do so. But this is what we want here, We want to kill the enemies, and then we want to pick up what they leave behind. Now, if you upgrade, like, improve your skills and stuff, you can target specific areas of the ships, which I actually have, but I don't really do much, because that means that you can take out the enemies, and you should be able to board the enemy ships as well. But that'll be a different video. In this video here, I'm just going to say that piracy is fun. It's probably one of the most fun things you can do, because I like the space part of this game. I don't really like, well, but I didn't buy it for the whole running around on land Fallout part. And it is fun, but there's a lot of, just flying around, searching for random things to do, and sometimes you don't find anything to do for 5 or 10 minutes. And of course, keep in mind that this being a Bethesda game, just as you are in the middle of, pirating your way around the universe, killing everyone in sight, you suddenly run into a starship full of school kids that's on an excursion and they've lost their engine. Or you run into, for example, a star parcel freighter like this, and he's asking for your help to deliver the parcel for him. And that could be the beginning of a huge new story arc that you wouldn't even have considered was included in the game. So keep that in mind, that piracy is fun, but sometimes it's not the best choice to shoot down everyone you see immediately. You will miss out on some cool things in the game if you do that, and that's a bit of a shame. Of course, sooner or later you will probably find that quest line some other way, but if you let the triggers talk all the time, at least in my experience with this game here, you are going to lose out on at least some of the content. But of course, if space piracy is your thing, then go for it. I will say, to conclude here, that the dogfighting is a little bit too simple for me. And I'll also do one more video on how to build your own ships. That's really important. That's also a little bit simple, if you ask me. And there's not really any thing like that punishes you when you lose your ship, like I just did here, other than a load screen. So hope you enjoyed this. See you out there.